Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Forex with a free US dollar index Elliott Wave analysis for you after the New York trading session dated Thursday 21st of October has ended. We're in the 22nd now in New York's, it's 2:45 in the afternoon in New York. Here's a quick look at an historical chart. According to my big picture wave count, the dollar's in a cycle wave C to the upside. We've got a 5-wave structure for 1, an ABC expanded flat correction down for 2, which is a textbook perfect expanded flat, and I really wouldn't want to be counting this piece of movement any other way. An impulse up for a first wave, and I wouldn't want to count this piece of upwards movement as a corrective structure. And now it's moved down a little bit further since I did this, a zigzag towards the downside for wave 2 black. My long-term target for the end to primary wave 3, probably about 120.59, is where it will reach 2.618, the length of wave 1. Alternatively, at 102.87 for the dollar, primary wave 3 will reach up to 102.87. It'll be 1.618, the length of primary wave 1, this primary wave 1 here. So this third wave from this point down here and upwards. Taking you now to a daily chart just for the last 1 year, where this black 1 and this maroon 2 is this black 1 and this maroon 2. I have 2 wave counts for you today. We're at the end of an ABC zigzag to the downside for a second wave correction. At this point, it's possible to see a complete structure for downwards movement. It's also possible to see an alternate wave count that requires further downwards movement. A main wave count that requires further downwards movement. Because of the structure of this upwards piece of movement, I'm favouring slightly this main wave count, which expects at least one more push to the downside for the dollar. At 75.89, wave 5 pink will reach 0.618, the length of wave 1 pink. This main wave count is different from the one within wave C blue. It differs from the one I've been using. Within wave 1 pink here, green waves 3 is just 0.31 longer than equality with 1, and green wave 5 is 0.11 longer than equality with 1. So they're all tending to equality, and 3 is the longest and forms a triangle which doesn't move into wave 1 price territory. Within wave 3 pink, the ratios, with green wave 3 it's 0.06 longer than 2.618, the length of green 1, and green wave 5 is 0.06 longer than 1.618, the length of wave 1. So pretty good Fibonacci ratios within this third wave here. This fourth wave has a really strong zigzag look. I did expect that we had the low here, and I was expecting an impulse to the upside. That's not what we've got. It is possible, and I have an alternate that sees a diagonal starting in this first wave position, but it's also possible, considering this very strong zigzag structure, to have this as a fourth wave and expect another push to the downside. This trend channel I've drawn here, the pink one, is not Elliott's technique, it's just a best fit. We'll have an indication that we've had a trend change when we first see a bar move outside the upper edge of this pink channel. However, for both the main and the alternate, this big wide blue channel would be reasonable and wise and cautious to wait for a trend channel confirmation by seeing movement to the upside of this big blue parallel channel before considering that we've had a trend change from down to up. Any further downwards movement should not move below 74.18. This invalidation point will not move and will not change, as the second wave at intermediate degree cannot move beyond the start of wave 1. So, importantly, price can touch this point. Wave 2 can be a 100% correction of 1, but the rule states that wave 2 cannot move beyond the start of wave 1. Taking you now to the hourly chart for this look at this last piece of movement, where this pink 3 and pink 4 is this pink 3 and pink 4, and here's the end of 3, 4, 5 wave structure down to end pink wave 3, and here's that very strong ABC zigzag to the upside for pink wave 4. Within pink wave 4, green C is just 0.06 shorter than green A, so they're tending to equality, which is the most common relationship between the two for a zigzag. The invalidation point of this wave count is 78.36. If the second wave at green degree extends any further upwards, this wave count will be invalidated with movement above 78.36, as wave 2 cannot move beyond the start of wave 1. This wave count sees the second wave, 5 waves for A, a little b and a short little c, as over here this corrective structure is complete here, and this wave count expects some pretty strong movement to the downside. It has to move beyond the end of green wave 1. because wave 3 must move beyond the end of 1, but technically it doesn't have to make a new low below this point, although that will confirm this wave count. So taking you now to the alternate wave count on a daily chart, and this is the same structured labelling that I've been using so far up to this point with pink 1, 2, 3, 4 and a pink wave 5 over here. The Fibonacci ratios within this wave C blue are actually pretty good. Pink wave 3 is just 0.17 short of 4.236, the length of this short little pink wave 1. First and second waves are often short, second waves are often deep corrections of the first. I have no problem with seeing this as very short compared to this third wave, which is relatively long. There's a nice Fibonacci ratio between them. And wave 5, if it was over here, is just 0.34, longer than equality with wave 3. So this labelling meets all the rules, many of the guidelines, and there's nice Fibonacci ratios in there. I won't go through the other ratios because I've done that in previous analysis. Thereafter, this wave count sees the dollar as in an upwards trend. However, this little narrow pink parallel channel doesn't contain price movement to the downside that well, but it is drawn using Elliott's technique, and it does see all of 1, 2, 3 and 4 ends almost perfectly touching the channel. When we see a full bar to the upside, when it's closed over and done and price moves on to the next day, and we have a bar to the upside, outside and not touching this pink parallel channel, that's when we'll have our initial confirmation of a trend change. Our final confirmation will come with a bar to the upside and above this wider blue parallel channel. Again, this is Elliott's technique for a correction, drawn first from the start of A to the end of B and a parallel copy placed on the end of A. Any further downwards movement, exactly the same as the main wave count, price cannot move below 74.18. When this trend change is confirmed, that's the time to work out shorter term targets for the upside for the dollar. It's premature to do so now as this trend change is unconfirmed. Here it is on the hourly chart. The end of wave 2 here, 3, 4, 5 to come down to end a fifth wave at green degree to end pink wave 5. Thereafter, this is the start of a leading diagonal for a first wave, possibly with a zigzag for 1, and for a leading diagonal, only waves 2 and 4 must subdivide into zigzags. Waves 1, 3 and 5 can subdivide either into zigzags or simple impulses. In this case, we see a zigzag for wave 1. Thereafter, a zigzag developing to the downside for a second wave that cannot move beyond the start of wave 1. Therefore, this wave count is immediately invalidated with movement below 76.14. At that stage, we could reasonably expect the dollar to continue lower, probably towards that target I have for the main wave count to the downside. This wave count expects a little bit more down for C, which is most likely to end beyond A. Pretty strong upwards movement for a third wave, most likely to be a simple impulse if this is correct. As soon as we see price move above this point, because wave 3 of the diagonal must move beyond the end of 1, above 78.36, this wave count will be pretty strongly confirmed. And then we'll have a short-term target at 79.4 to the upside. So that's all for me with your dollar analysis. It's at a critical juncture. The best approach to this market at this stage is to stand aside and wait until we have confirmation of the trend. We're right around the time of a pretty big trend change for the dollar. That's all for me with your dollar analysis, and I hope everyone else is having a good day.